So next, Euclidean patterns. Now, while not strictly part of the sequences aspect of the FH-2, they are convenient to edit with this Launchpad interface, so we added that as well. So this is activate page, press that to go into the Euclidean patterns. You're presented with this screen. This breaks down as follows. These top two rows represent the 16 Euclidean patterns available. Press the button to activate the one you want to edit. These buttons set the rate that the sequence is going to that the pattern generator is going to run at, and this section lets you interface with the number of steps and pulses in that pattern. So let's just start something happening. So we're on Euclidean pattern 1, and we'll press that one, say. So the area here that's kind of white, not blue, represents the number of steps in the pattern. So at the moment there's 16. When I press one of the buttons within this area, it's setting the number of pulses. So from 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 pulses over 16 patterns gives you this kind of 4/4 thing. If you want to change the number of steps, then we hold down this button and press the number of steps that you want. So that's 8 steps, say. 24 steps, 32 steps. This section here is the rate, like I say. So at the moment we've got 8th notes, so 16th notes, triplets, and then we've got the rest of these buttons up here. So rotate, and then that page. So rotate, if you hold down the rotate button and press the button in here, it sets the start of the pattern to that step. So that's indicated with the orange. So what I'm going to do actually is get a kind of 4/4 pattern up as a slightly more recognizable base point, and then switch to sequence 2 and then start mucking about with that. So that's sequences 1 and 2, and I'm going to change 2, I'm going to rotate 2, so you can hear now it's the same pattern, but I've rotated it relative to pattern 1, which is kind of that regular bass pulse. If I speed that up, and if I select a triplet, you can maybe hear more easily that it's a triplet against the bass. So the last button I realise I've not mentioned is this big red one here, which sets the number of steps to 0. Then coming on to this button here, which gives us control of gate length, resets and accents. So this is the gate lengths. Obviously you're not going to hear that on these drum sounds I've got, but that sets the gate length of the pulse, the Euclidean pulse, or that one sets it to a trigger, fixed length trigger, regardless of the tempo. The middle are the resets. These are the same as the resets on the 2 sequencer pages. It resets the pattern back to the start after a certain number of quarter notes. So that's set to reset the pattern every 2 quarter notes. So if I set it to a slightly more complex pattern, in fact let's set this, so you can see in fact it's not running over the whole pattern, it's resetting after 2 quarter notes. Turn that off. Reset it after 2 again. So if another example, set it to reset after 4 quarter notes, then it's resetting after that. So you've got the pattern generated from this 24-step, lots of pulses thing going on, but resetting after 4 pulses, 4 quarter notes. And then down here we've got the accent rate. Now again, we're not going to hear that because these sounds don't have any velocity sensitivity, but these rows let you set the accents, which is the same functionality the Euclideans have always had, which is that you can set a rate at which the pulses have a higher velocity independent of the actual pulses that are being triggered. So you could have, say, a quarter note accent on a much faster pattern to give it some rhythmic dynamism. But like I say, you won't hear that now because this sound doesn't have any velocity sensitivity. So that's it for Euclideans. Obviously you've got 16 to play with, so you can get quite a lot going on. Which is nice. So that's it. That's the Euclideans, and that brings me to the end of my tour of the Launchpad control of the FH-2.